The F1 racing cars are finally back, and it looks like Mercedes isn't going to let anything slip by, as the Silver Arrows are getting ready with a huge upgrade package for the next race. While the new design that everyone has been waiting for will show up in Emily, the Azerbaijan race is also one where Mercedes will try to boost their chances to win a race for the first time this season, with Russell saying that we'll see big changes on the W14 car. However, the way Mercedes is going can either be called mysterious, and whether it will be good or bad for them, that will be answered in our video. The 2023 season has started the same way it did for the Silver Arrows, and one thing that became clear to them right away is how fast the W14 car, because although they had a lot of hope in the no sidepod design and decided to put even more money into it, the result was terrible, and the bosses at Mercedes knew right away that big changes needed to happen, and they needed to happen soon rather than later. Luckily for them, they've been able to get some more speed with the same looking car in Australia, which is why we are more than happy to see what the next race in Azerbaijan will bring to Mercedes in terms of being able to compete with the top teams ahead. Sure, there are a lot of pieces to be moved, but one thing is for sure, the team has set their direction straight, and now the goal is clear: be competitive in 2023 and challenge Red Bull later on. Although you'd think that it is impossible for Mercedes after what we've seen with the RB19 car, the team now thinks differently. Sure, they are still not sure that anyone on the grid can catch up to the Austrian team, but they went from being a team that gave up almost right away to a team that brought back some old workers and moved around some of the current ones, while saying that the gap to Red Bull can be closed, so we have to give them credit for that. As for Baku, it looks like one of the biggest problems that Mercedes has, their rear suspension, is going to see big changes, and this is the exact same part that keeps the AMR23 from doing better and getting closer to Red Bull. Now that the team has said that they're going to move forward with a new design, it's clear that the rear suspension needs to be changed to work with it. So before we go to Imola, Mercedes will likely test out the new version in the races before the Italian Grand Prix such as Baku and Miami. With this in mind, Russell had a lot of good things to say about the next race, one that is supposed to be very interesting and highly expected because it has a sprint race in it. When talking about the upgrades that are coming to the W14 in Baku, Russell said big changes are coming. Naturally, you can't get things brought that quickly to the car, but I think eventually we'll see some big changes, and hopefully the lap times show that. We're working really hard right now with these changes. I won't give too much away, and we need to make sure they work as we expect, but as we've said many times, we're probably finding more improvements in the past 2 or 3 weeks than we found over the whole winter by clearly working in the wrong direction. So it's definitely heading in the right way. Although everyone puts hopes on the new design of the W14 car, the fact that the team is moving towards a new rear suspension shows how important the mechanical parts are that are supposed to work together with the airflow parts of the car. After all, it does bring a lot of hope that we can hear the British song more often in 2023. And while we're here, why shouldn't we see Hamilton and Russell on the highest step of the winner's platform yet? While Baku is a race where we'll see a small part of the car being upgraded, there is still a lot to be covered by Mercedes, more exactly the entire car design. When we talk about car design, we usually think about how the car looks. Mercedes has spoken against this story and said that the car design is basically how the car acts on the track and the entire bigger idea around it. Therefore, it wouldn't be as easy as you'd think, which is why the team has chosen a solution that, although many of us expected, it caught us by surprise. James Allison has been brought back as the technical director of the team, with Mike Elliott taking Allison's old job in the team. Although Mercedes were clear that Allison's work with the team would be small when they said that he had a huge impact on how the car would look after Imola, it was clear that the team wouldn't have let go of him that easily. After all, he is the brain behind one of the greatest cars to ever hit the track, the W11. And at this point, his job on the team is very important, and he may have a far bigger mission on his hands than delivering a great version of the W14 car, keeping Hamilton happy, while the second one can happen automatically if the first one comes true. Hamilton seems to be giving good signs that his future stays at Mercedes, mostly because now with the new technical director, he has more trust that Mercedes can bring themselves back where they belong, at the top of the timesheets. When talking about the new car design and what to expect later on in the season, Mercedes put out a letter to the fans out there. As it wrote in F1, there are 3 key technical things that make car performance: tires, power unit, and airflow. We have control over all of them, but the biggest difference maker of the 3 is the airflow. When we talk about airflow, we're not just talking about the shape of the car and the bodywork, it's also about how we use the car, how we control the car, how we change the setup to work with the airflow package, because those things also affect the airflow performance on the track apart from the rear suspension. It looks like Mercedes is planning to bring a new rear wing to Baku, given the fact that the track itself has a low downforce need for the 2023 challenges. Even with this in mind, it's not guaranteed that Mercedes will have a successful weekend, and they might wait for Imola to see better results and get the rewards of the W14 design in the wind tunnels, a place where they plan to beat Red Bull and their competitors. But would this be enough to keep Hamilton happy? The return of Allison is definitely a move in the right direction. The fact that the team won't fire any engineers after Hamilton asked everyone to take responsibility over their own actions speaks a lot about the team's current thinking work with what has already been proven. Allison's brain is definitely something that creates serious danger to Red Bull and Adrian Newey, his creativity, and with this in mind, you have to wonder, is Hamilton ready for a new contract at Mercedes? The team is moving in a new direction, and that is almost a guarantee. Whether Allison will be ready to bring back the glory after a terrible start to the 2023 campaign, time will tell. As of now, rumors are that Hamilton wants to extend the contract with Mercedes for 2 more years, but whether Mercedes will be ready for that choice, we are yet to find out. According to former F1 driver Eddie Jordan, the future of Hamilton in the sport is something he shouldn't be looking forward to, as he called the 7-time world champion as stale. Don't shoot us for passing along the obvious, because when talking about Hamilton, Jordan said, I think he would like to win his 8th title, but I have a feeling that I think he should go to Ferrari, but that's just me talking nonsense. The reason why is I don't want him to become stale, and I think when he was at McLaren he did well, but he moved quickly to Mercedes. I was one of the people with Niki Lauda who helped that happen, and then there was a refreshed, renewed Lewis Hamilton, and we know what he's done since then. However, I think it's time he moved on. The opportunity of Hamilton going to Ferrari and trying to fix what's been broken for decades, there may seem like an interesting one, but believe me when I say that his best championship hopes right now are with Mercedes. Even with the Brackley-based team building 2 different non-competitive cars, the team was able to pull out of the dirt much faster than Ferrari, a team that doesn't seem to accept when they've gone wrong with the airflow design of their car, even though they've been publicly warned by their star driver Carlos Sainz. With this in mind, there is clearly a lot of hope in the next race, and one thing is for sure, Mercedes will be even more competitive with an early pole position and a win in the sprint race. Mercedes' chance of having a winning weekend will be greatly increased. However, they need to be careful because their customer team is also bringing upgrades, and the RB19 doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. So while there is a lot of hope in Brackley, nothing will come to them easy in the following period. So with all of this in mind, only time will tell if Mercedes are really able to fight for wins this year and maybe even enter the championship battle with Red Bull. But for that, we really have to wait and see what happens in the upcoming races, as the biggest upgrades will be shown from the teams. What do you think about the upgrade the Mercedes is bringing to Baku? Do you think that the team has chosen the right development direction? Let us know in the comments below.